Oh, and thank you for joining us again. My name is Paul Akmanik, and I am a realtor with Coldwell Banker. For the first 14 years of my professional career, I was an attorney representing condominium associations as well as individuals looking to buy and sell their properties. On a prior segment, we had discussed team and the importance of teams in your career. Bringing us to our topic today, Kristine with Goosehead Insurance. Go ahead and please give us a little bit about your background and what brought you forth to today's business.
Sure. Thanks so much for having me, Paul. So as Paul said, my name is Kristine, and I am the owner of a Goosehead Insurance agency. And I have been in insurance for over 10 years, only my career in insurance started on the commercial side. And I was creating risk strategies for global companies, the federal government. And I quickly realized that although that was bringing benefit to those companies, it wasn't a make or break to their organization to whether or not they took my strategy. In the personal line space, it can be very, very different. And so consumers having the right coverage can really be impactful to their family in the event that they need it. So 2.5 years ago, I opened my own agency to better support consumers and truly feel like I'm making a difference to people's families.
Great, thank you. Thanks for joining us today.
Sure.
So, generally speaking, what is insurance and why do people need it?
Sure. So I like to take complex questions and simplify them. I call it simplexity, but I look at insurance as nothing more than a safety net. So when people are asking me, how much insurance do I need? I always look at it and say, what are you willing to self-insure, or essentially, what are you willing to pay for? And anything outside of that, that's why you need insurance. So no matter what it is that you're covering, it's that safety net that if something happens, you have protection and you're protecting your livelihood.
So then where do you come in helping a prospective purchaser or existing homeowner with their policy?
Sure. Yeah. Great question. So insurance is not the most exciting topic. I always like to say that. And so because of that, people don't study it, right? And so if you go online to purchase insurance, the average consumer doesn't know what they're looking at other than the price. And so where I come in is I truly act as a consultative partner to really help consumers understand the coverage that they need going into a purchase. We have access to over 24 different carriers here in Illinois specifically. So it allows us to really go out to the market to find the right insurance company for that specific consumer or that specific property.
Sure. So are there different types of coverages and policy amounts depending on the type of property the purchaser is acquiring?
Sure, absolutely. So here in Chicago, as you know, we have 100-plus-year-old gray stones, we have multifamily units, we have brand new construction happening, we have condos, we have subdivisions. So we have all different types of properties, and every property needs specific coverage depending on how it's built, how old is it, who's living there even makes a difference. And so every home owner out there essentially should have different coverage.
So then what documents do you need from the current homeowner or a prospective purchaser that would help you determine the policy and the coverage?
Sure. So if it's a single family home, a lot of times the listing will give me most of the information that I'm looking for. It's simple things, the address, the square footage, the age of the building, and most homeowners will know that basic information. And if it's a condo, I like to also get my hands on the master insurance policy for the building. And that's really to make sure that there are no gaps in coverage between the condo owner and that building's policy.
And then what happens if there is a gap?
We fill it, or we try to fill it, right? So the condo association decides what level of coverage they're going to offer to those condo owners by maintaining coverage on the building and the common elements. And then the home or the condo owner is supposed to have coverage for the interior of their four walls. But once in a while, there are condo associations that do cover things like water. So maybe the condo owner doesn't need that, or vice versa, they don't cover it, and we need to make sure that they do have that coverage.
Sure. So how and when does the homeowner or prospective purchaser pay for this policy and this insurance?
Sure. So most of the time, if they are in the process of purchasing, they're going to be paying at the closing table and through their escrow account along with their mortgage and taxes. So it's a very simple and streamlined process. And then for the handful of consumers that prefer to manage that invoice directly, they would pay it like any other bill that comes in the mail, via credit card, online, what have you.
What steps can a current homeowner take to have their current policy reviewed and possibly change their policy before the end of that first term?
Sure. So I say we should be looking at insurance as often as necessary. Consumers don't necessary is a relative statement, right? So if that risk picture changes throughout any time period, we should be looking at the insurance. Unfortunately for insurance agents, insurance is cancelable without penalty at any time. So making changes or switching policies mid-term to make sure you have the right coverage is something that happens quite often.
If they prepaid for the year, though, and you terminate with half the year left, do they lose that money?
They do not. So it would be prorated. The refund would be prorated back to them.
Sure.
Most.
So we've discussed different types of insurances for homes and condominiums, but what are the biggest mistakes that you see across the board that homeowners buy or, experience when buying their home?
Yeah. So two mistakes I see very often. One, a lot of consumers, once they put their insurance in place, they set it and they forget it. It's an out of sight, out of mind type scenario. Once that insurance is in place, it could be a decade before they even think to evaluate their home insurance. And as most things go over time, that premium is going to tick up a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. Pretty soon, they're 50% more than what they purchased. The second mistake, and the more common one, I would say, is that most people only ever look at one option when they are purchasing the insurance initially. And as we've discussed, there are tons of different types of carriers. There are a lot of different types of properties. And so we want to make sure that you fit in the sweet spot of that insurance carrier. And so by only going to one company as an option, you are leaving a lot on the table and you don't actually know if you're in the right spot.
Those are great points. Thank you. So what are the dangers of having the wrong policy or the wrong coverage amount?
Great question. It could be everything for a family. If you don't have the right coverage, or if you assume perhaps an agent didn't explain something for you and you assume you are covered and you have some sort of catastrophic damage happen that you are not covered for, it could bankrupt a family. It could be a couple $1,000s and that's impactful for a family. It could be tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars that they don't have the right coverage for. And so having that consultative partner is most essential to make sure that you're protecting your livelihood.
Right. You'd indicate that sometimes current homeowners pay their insurance through their escrow. What if they've paid their mortgage off and they don't have a mortgage on their home or condominium property? Are they still required to have insurance?
They're not required. I would say I would strongly suggest it unless they are in a position to self-insure. So the way I look at what should you insure versus what shouldn't you insure, and I would say if you are prepared to pay out of pocket for something and that's comfortable to you, you don't insure that item, right? However, if that would put you in a position to where you don't have the financial backing or it would soak up all of your savings, you absolutely want insurance. There is no home out there that I recommend not having at least minimal coverage on.
Right. What is the total space you operated in case anyone has any future questions on their personal or real property?
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate that. So we focus on all personal lines, whether that's home, condo, renters, auto, could be umbrella, life insurance, but then we also support the commercial space. So for those real estate investors out there, we work a lot in the multi-unit space, in the larger buildings, and in small business as well.
Great. Any helpful hints for prospective clients?
Helpful hints, find an agent. That's my number one recommendation. Find someone that can really give you the support and grow with you as your risk picture changes.
Great. It's been a pleasure having you today, Kristine. Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
To everyone out there, if you found this beneficial, please like, comment, follow below. I'll be sure to include Kristine's contact information in our comments. Please note, sometime in the future, we will have additional segments on this topic to further develop some of the ideas we discussed today. Thank you once again. Have a great day, and we're here as your transition expert. Thank you.
Bye.
What do you think?
I think NBC is going to be calling us soon.
This meeting is being recorded. Yes, stop.